Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to start a new series on the channel reviewing the top 10 fights in UFC history, and those fights are the ones that are enshrined in the UFC Hall of Fame. So if you go to the UFC website, you can navigate to the fights, and there are literally 10 fights that the UFC felt worthy as part of their history to be part of the Hall of Fame, which I thought was kind of cool. I don't know if other sports do this, but I thought it was kind of a great way for the UFC to signal key points in the history and not just focusing on single individuals, but iconic matches. So the first match we're going to review is Forrest Griffin versus Stephen Bonnar 1. So I'm not going to read the whole summary of the fight here, but even somebody like myself that is still learning about UFC and trying to read some more books about it, even I know about this fight. It took place in 2005, and it was at a pivotal point in UFC's history. They were struggling. They were trying to figure out how to stay afloat. And this fight, due to its nonstop action and intensity and the competitive spirit of these two fighters, was credited with kind of keeping the UFC afloat and sparking it to bigger and better things than what it is today. So this fight took place April 9th, 2005. So there was no licensed UFC product that was released at that time. So the first product that really captured the essence of this fight and made some collectible cards out of it was the 2009 UFC Round 1 product. So this is the checklist here, and we're going to search for Forrest. So you see here that they have a base card, number 19 of Forrest Griffin versus Stephen Bonnar, and then number 25 is another base card of the two fighting. Then if you keep going through the list, there are autographs of Forrest Griffin, which is his rookie, and on that autograph is him fighting Bonnar. And we're going to pull up an image of that in a little bit. There was a base autograph, which I'm not sure what the number is. I couldn't find out the numbers of the base, but obviously it says here the red ink was numbered out of 25. And then there are also some relic cards of Forrest Griffin, but I don't think that relic is specific to the fight. This is another fight. And this, I believe, I'm not sure if this victorious debut, I don't think that was his debut when he fought Bonnar. I could be wrong on that, but I don't think so. But anyway, the three main cards that I would focus on are the two base cards, number 19 and 25. And of those base, there is a normal card. There is a gold card, which is considered a parallel, which has no serial number. There's a silver card, and those are numbered out of 288, and the red, which is a 1 of 1. So just to recap, number 19, base, gold, silver, red. Number 25, base, gold, silver, red. And then the autograph is a base blue, and then a red out of 25. So that's kind of the starting point. So if you go to PSA, focusing on the autograph here in the middle of the screen, you can see they've graded 9 of the base and 2 of the red. So again, the sample size is so small, but figure 4.5 to 5 times more. So if there's 25 reds, you can maybe guess there were 150 blues. I have no idea if that's accurate or not, but just so we kind of look at it and wrap our head around some of the data. I looked up the grading on the base cards as well, and it was pretty insignificant. Let me see if I can pull that up real quick. So we type in Forrest. I did that wrong. Let me search it. So number 19, base, gold, silver. As we mentioned, the 1 on 1 is not graded, the red. Number 25, base, gold, silver. And again, to go back here, 16 base have been graded, 6 gold, 8 silver. I would assume that the base is the most copies made. The gold The second least, the third is silver, then red is the rarest, is the 1 of 1. If the gold isn't numbered, you would think it would, even though logically, usually gold is rarer than silver, but because it's not numbered, I don't know if that's actually correct or not. Here, the base, there's 9, 3 gold, 5 silver. So there's more graded silvers than the gold, but the gold's not numbered, but it could be rare. Not sure. Pull up some of these cards. These are some of the sales of the cards. So the base went for between 16 and 17 bucks. Now this is the card that I'm looking at. This card is amazing. The blue auto, yes, it's a sticker, but it signifies like a perfect moment in this fight. A punch being taken in the face, a dramatic image, totally captures history, everything about the UFC, and this moment in this fight is in the Hall of Fame. So I think that makes this card super cool. So for 530 bucks, I would buy one for 530 bucks if it was me. That's how special I think this card is. And the card has a certain, like a simpleness to the design. You know, more than half of the image of the card is the picture of the punch and the action. Kind of this iconic red and white, kind of the gritty white lettering. That's not a super fancy card, but I think that makes it beautiful in a way. The UFC logo in the upper right-hand corner. Pretty cool stuff. So we'll go back. So that was that. Then again, you have some graded, like this is the graded gold. The number, I think, would be on the back here, if I recall, from the silvers, which is not on the gold. CGC gold, 170 or best offer. This is the base silver here on the left side out of 288, which the gold does not have. Ungraded 150 or best offer. This is the base. Which is an 8, 100 or best offer. Seems a little high to me. This is a CGC base. Card number 19, 75 or best offer. And this image is the image from the auto here. So they just took this, cropped the size, made it into the autograph. And going through some sale history, 530 bucks for the auto. This is after market auto, so the base card is taken. The two signers signed the card. Was not pulled from the pack this way. It was added afterwards at a private signer or caught them in person. PSA authenticated it. I think this is a cool thing to collect as well. I think that's a perfect card to get signed. I think for 160 bucks to try to travel around and get those two to sign it, I think that's a steal. There's one up on eBay for 1,200 or best offer. And then we have the red ink. This is round 2, so we're not going to count that. And it's not versus Bonnar versus another fighter. Same there. In-person auto. Here we go. This one went for 450. Iconic moment. 350. In my opinion, a steal. Card's looking rough. Still with the original Topps sticker on top. But yeah, so let's check this one out. That's an amazing card, but it's a little outside of what I'm trying to focus on for this specific video. Cards representing the fight. Oh, here's a red ink, 1,525 bucks. Holy cow! What a stunning card that is. So I think that's going to be my goal for my next purchase of my collection, is to try to pick up one of these Forrest Griffin round 1 autographs. Hopefully a red ink, but I'll take the blue. I'll take whatever I can get. And then just going over to ComC to kind of finish out the research. No autographs from this. Obviously ComC, they do have some expensive cards on there, but it's mostly cheaper stuff. Some of the base, The round 2 is mixed in, and we're trying to ignore that. But you have the round 1 because you want the first one if possible. So you have nothing amazing there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to the search. We're going to pull up active listings, and I'm going to type in auto, which is only the in-person autograph. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a search. So when this card pops on eBay, I will be notified. So we just did a search, I will get alerted, and that kind of is that. So again, there are so many different ways to collect any sport, anything really. I know for me, I also collect Michael Jordan cards, and because of the vastness of how many types of cards he has and different cards, but also because Michael Jordan cards tend to be some of the most expensive ones in collectibles, I had to narrow it down and focus on something, or you would totally lose your mind and your collection just becomes this unrecognizable thing afterwards. The part of the enjoyment of collecting for me is not just trying to buy things that you think may or may not go up in value, or things that you can connect with other people with, that you see the same beauty in the card as they do, but trying to curate something that has some meaning and purpose and direction to represent something special about that collectible. So for me, I try to focus on Michael Jordan cards where he's wearing the black Bulls jersey. And the reason why I focus on that is because he was wearing the black jersey, I believe that was the debut of the jersey during the 72-10 record-setting season when they had 72 wins, which was a record at the time until the Warriors beat it with 73, but they also won the title that year versus the Sonics. And that black jersey is just a great memory for me as a kid, because he came out of retirement and then his first full season back, he debuted that black jersey. That was when he wore the Air Jordan 11s. That's when they won the 72 wins. It's just, for me, it's just an amazing memory and something I like collecting and reliving it. But taking that same concept and bringing it over to UFC, trying to dig into the history of UFC and figure out what things are kind of cool and things I could focus on. I think collecting a top tier collectible, maybe the best in class that's available from the top 10 UFC fights in history. So I try to want to focus on, the specific fight, but also the person that won the fight. I think that adds a little bit interesting element to it as well. So that's kind of the focus of this video, where I'm going to go. So I will keep you updated. I will keep you informed of the hunt and whether I have luck or not. It's probably going to take a little bit while to find these. I mean, this one recently sold. So actually sold a couple of days ago. For some reason, I think I saw this card at the time. I think I remember looking on eBay, maybe even been in a previous video, but I didn't realize. I realized the significance of this moment, and it was a big fight. I didn't understand that this fight was inducted into the Hall of Fame when I saw this. So that was something I didn't know. But November 6th was the red. November 6th was, sorry, these are the round 2s, ignore that. So we had August 19th. So they popped up a couple times this year. I mean, they're tough cards, but they're not impossible. So hopefully one pops up. And if it does, I will try to get it and add it to my collection. So with that being said, if you learned a little bit of something about the UFC collectibles market, I would appreciate it if you leave a like and a comment. It really helps out the algorithm. Subscribe to the channel. You get my daily videos on UFC. Trying to learn and educate myself on this stuff and get caught up to speed. There's some really good UFC channels out there, and I enjoy watching those as well to try to get up to speed and learn about this stuff. But with all that being said, thank you so much for joining me this evening. I know that your time is limited and valuable, but the fact that you spent a little bit of time watching my channel, I do appreciate it. And wherever you are on earth, stay safe, stay healthy, take care of yourself, and I'll talk to you again soon.